Actually, I think we're going to start out with a little short one. This is from a channel called Zamani Zulu, which is, if you're trying to learn IsiZulu, which I occasionally am, it is a really great source of comprehensible input. Um, and this is something I hadn't looked at it in a while, because a lot of what he had been doing for a while was just like game streams where he was talking IsiZulu, and it was a bit advanced for me. So, but now he's got a whole bunch of other stuff, and so let's check this out. This is a series of videos he's doing where he takes his favorite scenes from a Zulu language sitcom called Skudi Snayisi, and and sort of breaks, and you can watch them as comprehensible input, and then he goes and breaks down what they're saying. And I was looking at one of these last night, and they're really quite good. So we're gonna have a look at that. Are we gonna start out at nil? Yes. Okay, let's see if we can get that quality up a little.
So, sanibona abafundi.
Now, that's how are you doing, students, learners? Funda, fundi. Yeah, see, this is cool because it's one of the few words of IsiZulu that I know. It can mean read or learn. And bafundi, when you see that ba and the e on the end, then it's like people who do that thing.
Njani ngiyaphila.
How you doing? I'm
igama
fine.
lami nguZamani. Namhlanje sizofunda.
Now there you go. There's that funda again. Sizofunda. Namhlanje sizofunda is now we're going to look at or learn.
Scoot is nice.
Now we're going to learn with Skudis Nice. Wow. Let's see. This is really handy because he's like, I'm. This is making me look really good because he's only saying words I know. That is a vanishingly small category in IsiZulu, but cool.
Show elidala. So this is a new series. I'm going to go through my favorite scenes in the show.
I understand all of that.
And yeah, very old series, very fun. Let's get started.
I love his IsiZulu speaking origin story. I was watching a video of his. There's a video on natural languages, which is a channel that we've done some reacts to, and we're definitely gonna come back to because they've got a lot of really good interviews and stuff like that. And he was interviewed on one of them talking about the importance of comprehensible input. And his IsiZulu learning origin story is he went to sort of an open house thing at university in South Africa, and he was planning on going into psychology. And then, people representing the various faculties come and speak and explain why you should study their stuff. And somebody, comes up and is like, Sanbonani, Unjani, and, introduces himself in Zulu. And the people in the audience sort of really ate that right up, and he's just sitting here thinking, I'd really love to be able to speak Zulu like that. And I just love that because that is you ask me why I learn certain languages, and it's shit like that. That is my origin story with a lot of languages. There's like no practical necessary reason, unlike, I mean, he's South African. He was going to university in South Africa. Actually, there are some practical uses for IsiZulu if you're in South Africa, or like have any plan of going there or interact with people from there. So, but like a lot of the time, it's like, oh, I would love to be able to speak like that. That is very much kind of an origin story of mine for a lot of languages. God, this has real like 80s, early 90s sitcom vibes.
Oh, wazwangithusa-ke Louisa.
Nginqonqozile yini ungavula?
Awubheke ukuthi usuwenze
Tuwenze. Nazo. Siyabona bafundi lapha kukhona usisi May
That's Sissy May,
nosisi Louisa.
and that's Sissy
Manje-ke.
Louisa. See, in IsiZulu and in Afrikaans, and I'm pretty sure isiXhosa as well, it is very common. You find people use kinship terms to address people all the time. And Sisi is sister.
Ngenzile ama embedded readings. So these are just
See, this is the cool thing. This is what I like, because he starts out with this comprehensible input and you listen to it, and then he breaks it down here. So we've got Luisa says, Sisi, kukona uzama ukwenza ishayangawe. Uba me says, ubani. Luisa, ngizofunda. There's that funda again. Yay, a word I know. Ngizofunda is, I'm going to have a look. Woza kuleli keli. Let's see what he does with this.
Smaller parts of the video that taken all of the text and summarize it down into these 3 sentences.
I'm going to drop a link into chat for anyone who's interested in checking this channel out. It's Zamani Zulu.
So, the gist of the story, Sissy Louisa comes in and says...
See, this is really good. Like, a lot of people might have this idea that it's somehow cheating or, like, reducing your learning experience to have these sorts of summaries in, you know, your, like, native language, or at least a language that you speak better than the one you're learning. But actually it helps, because all of this is what I call priming. There's probably a technical term in the literature that I don't know, but I think of it as priming, because what it does is it primes your brain and your language acquisition device, which is what the scientists who study this stuff call it, to have some basic ideas about what you're likely to be hearing, and that helps kind of categorize the input and sift through it.
Sisi, kukhona ozama ukwenza ihlaya ngawe. Kukhona there is.
Okay, see, and here he's breaking it down even further. So kukona is there is. Useful.
Someone. Ozama, zama, to try, mina, ikamalami.
Oh, interesting. So
Nguzamani, my name is Trya, ngoba ngiyazama ukukhuluma IsiZulu.
Okay, so Zama. That's what Zamani means. That's what he was just explaining. Because I'd been wondering, because to me Zamani sounds like Arabic. Zaman, time. So Zamani is trying. Ozama. So Ozama means like someone who is trying, apparently. That O is like someone who is that thing. See, this is one of the things that Bantu languages, like IsiZulu, do, is they front load a lot of stuff onto the words. It's prefixes that do a lot of the heavy lifting. So you stick O, so I'm guessing, I guess this is O, means like someone who has the characteristic identified by the thing that comes next. Here, Zama, which is try. So, see, and the more of these little prefixes you work out, the more you can really sort of flex in IsiZulu, because you can just stick them onto other things. And sometimes they get layered, and we're going to see, I think, some examples of that coming up as well. Sometimes you get a whole bunch of them, like you could say, I think, this is something I learned from one of his other videos, is see, sa is a prefix that means still. So, if it was osazama, I think that would mean someone who is still trying. But okay, so let's see.
There
Let's
is
keep
someone
going.
who's trying. Kukhona ozama ukwenza ihlaya. To make ihlaya a
Ihlaya is
joke.
joke.
Play a prank.
So uwenza ihlaya is to play a joke. So interesting. So, and the trick with languages like this that are agglutinating languages, some of them front load, some of them back load, but they all love to just stick prefixes and or suffixes on things in order to create all this different layers of meaning. It's why I love them, because there's a very sort of plug and play feeling to them. But so if you have o, like ofunda, would be like someone who is reading or someone who is learning. Kukona ozama ukufunda IsiZulu. There is someone who is trying to learn IsiZulu. See, it's all you, and this is really useful because if you have these bits of orientation, again, I call them priming. And maybe specialists have other names for it, like specialists who've actually read more of the literature than I have, which is, I haven't read a whole lot of it. I've really come to this through, like, just practice. But, so that's how that works. That's very interesting to me.
Ngawe. Unused.
Yeah, nga, or ng, at the beginning there, as a prefix. Okay, this is another one of those areas where I look really good because it's a thing I know. Is ngi, which you see coming up later on in this dialogue, means I or me. But ng just means like with or on. Like, so ngawe, on me or with me. So, kukona ozama uwenza ihlaya ngawe.
Someone's trying to play a prank on you. Sisi, kukhona ozama ukwenza ihlaya ngawe.
So that we is what makes it you.
Asilalele futhi.
Sisi, ngilezi ndaba zakho. Kukhona ozama ukwenza ihlaya ngawe.
Kukhona ozama ukwenza ihlaya ngawe. Sisi May says, "Ho. Bani."
See that ooh again, that's another one of these prefixes, and it's one you see a lot of.
Ubani. Ubani ozama ukwenza ihlaya. Prank. Sisi Louisa says, uthatha iphephandaba, the newspaper, uthi
Iphephandaba. Uteta iphephandaba takes out the newspaper.
Funda. I will read ngizofunda.
Yeah, see, there's that ngi I was telling you about. That means I or me when you see that at the beginning. Or I'm guessing also probably in... Well, yeah, sometimes it's more in the middle of words. Like, if you want to say, I don't, here's... I mean, this is cool because this is another thing I actually know in IsiZulu, and I don't know a lot. See, the way you create a negative, you want to say, I don't read. Like, you would say, angifundi. So, a and e at the end, but ngi is still I.
And in the paper is an advert which says, Woza kuleli keli. To this.
Keli is address.
Dum,
Okay.
dum, dum, dum. Come to this address. Oh. Embedded reading number 2. A little more of the details.
Okay, so let's have a closer look. Sisi, sister. Waze Okay, wangitusa. I'm not sure what that means. Sisi, kukuna uzama uwenza ihlaya ngawe. So that's, there's somebody trying to play a trick on you. Ubani ozama uwenza. Who is this someone who is trying to play a trick? Ngami. Ngami means on me.
Louisa comes in, says, Sisi. Sisume says, waze wangithusa, Sisi. Let's listen to that.
Sisi!
Oh, waze wangithusa-ke Louisa.
Na
Love the
uyangcolisa
shoes.
phansi. Ungcolile manje phansi, hayibo. Any guesses? Sisi. Waze wangi.
Okay, ngi, that's I. That's gonna be I or me, something like that. Not sure about wazi. Maybe, maybe it's like listen to this or something like that. We're gonna find out.
Thusa. Oh, you gave me a fright.
Wa, ngi, tusa. Yeah, so a fright to me.
Sisme? Got a fright. Waze wangithusa. Sisi Louisa. Waze wangithusa. Sis Louisa. Sisi. Someone's trying to play a joke on you.
Sisi, kukona uzama uwenza ihlaya ngawe.
Sisi, ngilezi ndaba zakho. Kukhona ozama ukwenza ihlaya ngawe.
Kona, someone. Ozama is trying ukwenza ihlaya joke ngawe. Sisime.
Ubani ozama ukwenza ihlaya ngawe?
Yebo. Ubani ozama ukwenza ihlaya ngami, says usisime.
Who is the
Ubani
someone?
kodwa? Ubani ozama ukwenza pull a prank? See, joke, prank. Ngami
Streich.
on me. Usis Louisa uthatha iphephandaba.
Awukaliboni yini iphepha? Ozobona.
Ipepa. Ipepa, the newspaper.
Umuntu omdala ohloniphekile.
Nazo usis May, usis Louisa uyafunda uthi da someone woza kuleli kheli, this
Was
address.
Ozoba isiqashi. Woza kuleli kheli 40 East 4538. Yindlu yakho lesi. Ake ungitshele ubani kodwa ungenza into enjengale. Sis May,
Uyazi bengithi izophuma kusasa.
kanti wena uyifakile. Ufuna umuntu ozoqasha.
Sis Louisa, how? Kanti
but
wena oyifakile. Ha. It's you who placed the advert.
and see, there's that o again. Ozama o yifagile. So yifagile is like, or fagile is like placing an advert. O, and there's that o, the person who is doing something. See, that is something I didn't know until I was watching this just now. And that's the thing. It's like, if you have certain bits that you already know, I mean, all it really is, all language acquisition is your brain is taking knowns and relating them to each other in a way that eventually either more things that are currently unknown become known. So I didn't know anything about this O. And he hasn't really explicitly said anything about this O. But if I know that kukona is there is, zama is try, uwenza ishaya is to play a joke on somebody, ngawe on you. Kukona was then, and that's there is somebody trying to play. Then that o has to be that is attached to zama try has to be something. It has to be a prefix that means like a person who is doing the verb.
Manje asenzelo.
So it's a little bit like the n or an that goes at the end in Turkish. Like, yeah, if you want to say someone who is living in Istanbul, you say İstanbul'da mesken etmeyen. So then that yen is added to etmek, which is to is sort of to do. It turns things into verbs. To mesken etmek, and it means a person who is doing the thing.
Estatu. Sis Louisa comes in. See?
God, this is such a like 1980s sitcom credit sequence. This is like every the music of it is just like every 80s sitcom I remember.
Oh, wazwangithusa-ke Louisa.
ngilolozile yini ungavula
Awubheke ukuthi usuwenzeni.
kwenziwe yimina
Kwenziwe yimina. And see, this is interesting. What he's doing here is he is not giving you the whole script to the scene at once. He's starting out, he's like filling in blanks gradually. So we have not had him write down Kwenziwe yimina before now, but now it's in there. Awubeke. Or awubeke. Well,
Nifundile. You gave me a fright. Oh, bege. Just look here. Kwenziwe
Awubeke.
mina. What's that?
Hej, nog nok. Hvordan går det? Det vi tittar på här, det är en YouTube-kanal som lär var vi kan lära Zulu med comprehensible input. So what he does, I mean, one of the things he does is he just streams games and he speaks in IsiZulu. But this is a new thing. I didn't know that he did this until, like, I was checking this channel out last night because I just didn't have anything to watch. And I felt like watching something, and he's taking this is an old, like, 90s, I think, sitcom from South Africa in IsiZulu, and he's using it as comprehensible input. So what he's doing here is gradually he goes over the scene over and over again, and he adds new words as he goes. So, waze wangitusa, which you kind of just came in for, is like, you gave me a fright. Oh, awubeke. Hey, look here. And now we're about to find out what the deal with Kwenziwe Yimina is. This other part here, he's already on and off. I've been trying for a long time. It's a beautiful language. I've always been interested in it. The sisi kukona uzama uwenza ishlayangawe. That somebody is trying to play a prank on you. That det är person som verber. Så Osama prober försök. Och Zama, det är någon som försöker att spela dig en strik. A joke.
Me? Kwenziwe yimina? Hayi. Bese-ke usisi Louisa.
Akumina.
Uyangibambezela wena mntakasitolo sekumele ngiqale phansi manje ngilungise.
Ungadinga ukungcola okuncane kangaka ubani ozobona.
Imini
And the cool thing about IsiZulu, or any of the Nguni languages that are spoken in southern Africa, of which there are a number. There's isiXhosa, there's isiNdebele, there's isiZulu. All of them are very close to each other. isiNdebele and isiZulu in particular, very, very close to each other. So if you get a start into isiZulu, or isiXhosa, or isiNdebele, you've already got a good start. Det är som det skandinaviska språk. Det är nettopp som skandinaviska språken. Hvis du har lärt dig ett av skandinaviska språken, du har allerede begynt att lära dig det andra. Hvis du kan prata norsk, du har allerede begynnelsen av att lära dig dansk eller svensk. Det är nettopp som Nguni-språken i den sinnen.
Sisi, ngilezi indaba zakho. Kukhona ozama ukwenza ihlaya ngawe.
Khona uzama ukwenza ihlaya ngawe. Someone's trying to play a joke.
See, that "o" is a thing you stick on there. It means a person who does the thing. Ukwenza ihlaya, to play a joke. Ngawe, on you.
On you.
ubani ozama ukwenza ihlaya ngapha?
Sisime, ubani ozama ukwenza ihlaya ngami? Who's trying to play a
Vem är
joke?
det som gör det? Okej.
Sis Louisa.
Ngizofunda.
Ufunda.
Ngizofunda. Funda, det är att titta på något. Eller att lära studera något. Ngizofunda, jag ska titta. Jag ska läsa. Jag ska lära mig.
Da iphephandaba kuthiwa in the advert kuthiwa woza
Kom till den
kuleli
adressen.
kheli. This address. Sis Louisa, uyasho? How?
Omdala ohloniphekile ozoba isiqashi. Woza kuleli kheli, Proti East 4538. Indlu yakho lezi.
Ah. Uyasho.
Indlu yako.
Indlu yakho. That's your
Det är huset ditt.
house. This is your house in the paper. Oh. Indlu yakho.
Jako. Af dig. Ja, af. Ko dig.
Your house. That's your house. Wo. Mrs. May says, uyazi. Bengiti, I thought.
Iso.
Iso.
Så, det är tillkomsten. Usasa.
Puma. That this would come out. Usasa. This advert would only come tomorrow. Bengiti izopuma kusasa.
Bengiti, jag har tänt.
Ake ungitshele ubani kodwa ungenza into enjengale. Sis May,
Uyazi bengithi izophuma kusasa?
kanti wena uyifakile.
Uyazi. Bengiti, I thought izopuma kusasa. It would come tomorrow.
Så,
Sis Louisa.
så är tillkomsten. Så, Puma kommer ut. Gå ut. Iso Puma. Det ska komma ut.
Wena oyifakile. But
Det är du.
you, wena. It was you. Uyifakile.
Devadai.
Replace the advert. Dum dum dum dum. That's okay. Manje sizolalela. I'll put the whole script to the whole scene, and we'll listen to the whole script.
Yeah, then this is cool. I like how he does this, because he's just sort of, he's giving you these little building blocks and so you're primed to focus on different parts of the conversation because you've got like an understanding of parts of it, and he starts out by just having you listen to the dialogue, and he just goes over it over and over again and breaks down different parts of it each time. And this is, I think, a really good way of doing sort of comprehensible input with really just legit natural sources, because this is a Zulu sitcom written by native Zulu speakers. This is like sort of, with dialogue and stuff like that. This is a thing, if you've got South African TV, you might turn it on and see this. And so it's like a realistic source. And then he breaks it down afterwards, after your brain's already sort of heard at least a little bit of what's being talked about.
I will go through more of this on Patreon.
The easiest to learn. Oh, okay, that's a complicated question. I mean, I would have to say it would probably be sort of between the Scandinavian languages and Afrikaans. Because those were languages where I was building on something else I already knew. Like, with the Scandinavian languages other than Norwegian, det var det första språket som jag hade lärt mig. Första skandinaviska språket. You have the building blocks. So if you already can understand Norwegian, then you get into Swedish, and there's a lot that's very similar, and a lot of the stuff that isn't similar is similar to other languages. So, where it's different, you can kind of say, oh, that's actually something else I know. And similarly with Afrikaans, I already knew Dutch. So Afrikaans has, if you sort of are importing the Dutch, you already have that sort of basis. Then you can look at it and you're just sort of making adjustments to it, and then there's some new words to learn and stuff like that. So those groups of languages were probably the easiest for me.
So be sure to come and have a look on our Patreon page. There's some more breakdowns here. There's lots more details.
And in case you don't have this link, you can drop it in here.
Patreon. For now, we'll go through the full script.
Okay.
So just sit back and listen and read.
So here we go. Sisi, sister. How? Was wangitusa ke Louisa? Du har förskräckt mig, Louisa. Ginkgo kon gozile. Bollocks. It is like the clicks are one of the things. It's not so much making the click sounds that's hard. It's integrating them into words. Like, we make that Q click, that a lot. Like, if you're imitating like a bottle of champagne or sparkling wine or something opening up, it's the sound you made. But then integrating it into words is, and this is twice in the same word here. Gingon ozile. Gingon ozile. Gingon ozile. Yingi unga vulanga. Ye, that is yay or my. Yeah, it's me, I, or me. It's something to do with that. And that ile means it's like something past tense, I think. Oh, aubeke ukuthi usuwenzeni. Wenziwe yimina, agumina. Yeah, I mean, and beautiful vowels. That's one of the things I love the most about the Nguni languages like IsiZulu. is that the vowels are just really like practically sung. Uyangi bambezela wena. Okay. Random language fact. Well, why don't we do a random language fact with some of the Nguni languages? Okay, random language fact for you. The numbers in IsiNdebele and IsiZulu are basically the same. There's a random language fact for you. Uyangi bambezela wena ngijahe esitolo sekufanele ngiqale phansi manje ngilungise.
Read along. So,
This is so 1980s US sitcom, this music.
Oh, waze wangithusa-ke Louise.
ngingongozile yini ungavulanga
Awubheke ukuthi usuwenzeni.
kwenziwe yimina akumina
Uyangibandezela wena mjaha.
Okay, so Mina. See, the way that IsiZulu works, it's an agglutinating language. And it gets front-loaded for the most part. So Mina, so you have Yimina, Agumina, and they are both something that is attached to whatever Mina is. I don't know what Mina is.
Lesafanele ngiqale phansi manje ngilungise.
ungadinga ukungcola okuncane kangako ubani ozobona
Imini ngizokubona.
sisi ngilezi ndaba zakho kukhona ozama ukwenza ihlaya ngawe
Ubani ozama ukwenza ihlanga?
angikholwanga ngesikhathi ngiyibona
See that ngi angi kolwanga, something that's going to be something with me. Ngati ngikuluma, I say, I speak yedwa. Kodwa ngubani ozama ukwenza ihlala ngomngane wami. Ngane is friend with my friend, I think, something.
ngathi ngikhuluma ngedwa kodwa ubani ozama ukwenza ihlaya ngomngane wami
Yini-ke leyo Louise? Ubani kodwa ozama ukwenza ihlanga?
awukaliboni yini iphepha ozobona
Bona, uzobona is okay. Bona is like to see or say. Zo tillkomsten. Uzobona, they will see, I think. He, she, they will see.
naku lapho ngizofunda umuntu omdala ohloniphekile ozoba isiqashi woza
Qashi.
kuleli kheli Protea East 4538 yindlu yakho lesi ake ungitshele ubani kodwa ungenza into enjengale sisibey
Uyazi bengithi izophuma kusasa.
I thought it was going to come out tomorrow.
wena uyifakile ufuna umuntu ozoqasha umuntu omdala ohloniphekile
Ake uthi-ke esibonile.
Bone, bona, bone, boni. It's all to do with seeing. I'm not sure what the kit is. There's a lot of kit.
Uyazi Louise, babhale konke ngibatshele kona.
ufunelani isiqashi awukazi ube naso naphambilini
Kuyakumangaza.
Azoke bafundi. You want to know what happened and what Isikashi is?
Yes.
Come over on Patreon. Otherwise, I'll carry on. You see me in next episode.
Okay, what is Isi? Isi, okay, it's like a tenant. A leaseholder. EC is another of these prefixes. It is what's called a noun classifier. Yes, they don't really do genders with nouns in the Bantu languages, but they do have classes. Okay. And let me see.
Of this video. Ngiyabonga kakhulu. Oh, and nali page ka Patreon nami. khona
Let me drop his Patreon link too. Yeah, great channel if you're trying to learn IsiZulu. I mean, I really like the way he did that. I think that is a really cool way of taking some like natural language input and breaking it down so you're priming gradually more bits of it so your language acquisition device can, work on it. Okay, so I am going to take just a little bio break. I'll be back in a couple of minutes, and then we're going to play some more Aliens Dark Descent for a while, and then when next time I get killed or complete a